President Biden is back on U.S. soil after his first presidential trip to the Middle East, and it seems he has little to show for his troubles. President Biden received zero concrete commitments from Saudi Arabia on oil production, and he made no significant progress toward an Israeli-Palestinian solution. I spoke about this and more earlier with the spokesperson for the Embassy of Saudi Arabia in Washington, D.C., Fahad Nader. Fahad Nader, thank you so much for joining us. I know it has been a busy couple of days for you. I'd like to start first with the meeting, the images that we saw, and then we can talk about the substance of what came out. President Biden on Friday met with the Crown Prince. He said he spoke about the killing of Jamal Khashoggi. What can you tell us about how that meeting went, and did the Crown Prince push back on the president when he raised Khashoggi's murder?
Well, first of all, let me say that the decision by President Biden to visit Saudi Arabia on his first trip to the region is a testament to the strength and the importance of the relationship. This is a long-standing relationship that has served the national security interests of both countries, but I also think that it's been good for the region and the international community more broadly. Now, obviously, I think that the meeting went very well. It was very cordial. It discussed a lot of issues of common concern and common interest. And the issue of the murder of Mr. Khashoggi did come up. As you know, we have been saying now for the past 3 years that the murder of Mr. Khashoggi was a heinous crime. It was an affront to both our laws as well as our values. The people who were behind it were arrested, prosecuted, and were held accountable. We also took concrete measures to make sure that something like this never happens again. And if you look at our 90-year history, you will find that this is simply not how we do things. It's not who we are.
A lot has been made, sir, about what the U.S. was trying to get out of this trip, whether it's oil prices or various bilateral cooperation agreements. I want to know what the Saudi government wanted from President Biden's trip. What does the Saudi government want from the U.S., and did you get it with this visit?
Right. So anytime the president visits Saudi Arabia, I mean, we consider that to be a success. And as I said, I think that's a testament to the durability and the strength of the relationship. The relationship in many ways is multi-dimensional. It has a political component, it has a military component, it has an economic component. All of these issues were discussed during the meeting. But not only that, I think the meeting, the visit, in some ways has set the stage for the next 80 years of relations. So there's a number of challenges that we, both in the United States as well as Saudi Arabia, but also the broader international community face. I'm talking about climate change, cybersecurity, food security, and all of these elements were also discussed and kind of set the stage for the next 80 years, including by concluding, I believe, 18 different agreements that will reinforce cooperation in terms of, again, cybersecurity, energy, food security, as well as the healthcare in terms of, preventing future pandemics.
I'm sure you saw before President Biden left for his trip, he wrote in the Washington Post that his aim was to reorient but not rupture relations with Saudi Arabia. Do you think this trip has done that? Did you agree with that assessment that this was not about, repurposing the trip, but reorienting the relationship?
I mean, if you read the joint communique that was issued yesterday after the bilateral meetings that President Biden had with both the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman, as well as His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, you will see that the areas of agreements, the common interests, the common concerns that we have is a long list. And we, to a great extent, our concerns, our policies broadly align on a number of issues. We're both committed to finding resolutions to some of the political crises across the region, primarily Yemen, and I think we're working very closely there. And I think we're a little bit closer today than we were a few months ago to resolving that conflict. Over the years, we've worked very closely to push back against militant groups, terrorist groups like ISIS and Al-Qaeda and others. We're also continuing to have a conversation about the importance of maintaining stable international energy markets. So all of these issues were on the table. All of them were discussed and reinforced. And so I think we're happy with that.
You bring up the subject of Yemen, and this trip resulted in an agreement by the Saudis to commit to extending and strengthening the UN-mediated ceasefire What does that exactly mean? I mean, the people of Yemen, we can all agree, are still suffering even under this ceasefire. There's been a blockade on the country of Yemen. I know that Saudi Arabia has been attacked by missiles coming out of Yemen. Did the U.S. get a commitment from the Saudis about lifting the blockade and getting food aid into Yemen? And did you get something in exchange from the Americans about your security concerns from Yemen?
Right. So there is no blockade. Ayman. In fact, Saudi Arabia is the biggest provider of humanitarian aid to Yemen going back over the course of this crisis. We have provided $19 billion of humanitarian assistance. This has come in the form of food, medicine, assistance to internally displaced people, assistance to the central bank. We are beginning to build hospitals, schools. So, I'm not sure how this blockade a story or narrative has spread, but it's certainly not the case. Saudi Arabia, in fact, is doing everything it can to restore peace and stability to Yemen, and we are working very closely not just with the United Nations, we're working very closely with the United States as well. We have been doing this for a number of years, and I think we are closer now than we were 3 months ago because we do have this ongoing truce. There is also a leadership change. You have this leadership council now that is representative of various segments and regions of Yemen, and we believe these are important steps forward in the right direction.
And what about your security concerns coming out of Yemen? You obviously, Saudi Arabia has been hit in the past. Do you have any assurances from the U.S. that it is going to provide for you defensive capabilities? Is it going to sell you offensive capabilities?
Right. So again, if you read the communique, or if you listen to President Biden's speech today at the Jeddah Summit, he made his commitment to the security of Saudi Arabia and the broader region very clear. Obviously, a military and security component of this relationship has been a pillar of the relationship for, going back decades. We will continue to talk with our U.S. partners. I mean, we have no higher priority in Saudi Arabia than protecting the safety of our people and of our territory, and we will do whatever it takes to make sure that that's possible.